Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, Cocoa Board announces decision not to raise money through loan syndication for cocoa purchase for the 2024-2025 crop season, the first in over 3 decades.
Board wants to wean itself from the offshore syndication. We want to be self-financing.
Also coming up, the NPA warns Atuabo gas processing plant risks shutdown if LPG marketers continue boycott of Blue Ocean and Sage Petroleum.
With regards to the facility at Atuabo, for instance, it is a strategic facility that allows us to evacuate LPG so that the gas processing plant can be run. Once you stop evacuation of LPG over there, you create a national security issue.
My name is Darryl Kwal. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Well, first up, Ghana Cocoa Board has announced that it will not, for the first time in 3 decades, raise money through offshore syndicated loan to finance the purchase of cocoa beans for the 2024-2025 crop season, targeting about 650,000 metric tons of cocoa beans for the season. Cocoa Board says it will be able to finance the purchase from its internal operations. Here's more in this report.
Speaking at a press briefing, Chief Executive Joseph Boycott said there is an elaborate plan to wean Cocoa Board off loans with high interest rates from offshore lenders. He emphasized that it is not financially prudent for Cocoa Board to continue relying on loans from international banks when it has the capacity to directly raise money from the country at a relatively cheaper rate to buy the beans.
I will say that for the first time in the history of Ghana Cocoa Board wants to wean itself from the offshore syndication. We want to be self-financing. Since 1992, Cocoa Board has been going offshore to borrow from a syndication of banks, or a consortium of banks. And 32 years, I think, is quite a good time for any human being to learn his or her lessons. 32 years, we've learned our lessons, and we think that it's high time, we weaned ourselves from the offshore international financial market, and then, finance the crop.
Mr. Boycott insisted that Cocoa Board can self-finance its operations and purchases, provided all the proceeds it will accrue to the government of Ghana for other developmental projects. Defending the decision, he stressed that MOVE has received all the support of major stakeholders in the sector to make the farmer the ultimate beneficiary in the value chain.
We've studied the market for the longest while, and we've come to understand the market. I'm not a trader, but right now when I'm speaking, you might think that I'm a trader, because we've come to understand all the intricacies in the market, and not just the trading, but even the financials, And you all agree that if you've been doing syndication for 32 years, do you have to continue to be in the same situation? You don't change. You don't change. I don't think so. You have to change. So now we've taken the decision that we've studied everything and come to the conclusion that it's time for us to change. And last year we were, if anything, it was even last year when we started, Why? How come last year we went to the traders? So it's not that maybe it's out of desperation of no. Last 2 years, you know, those who followed my stories, last 2 years I was in the Gulf. Looking for money.
Meanwhile, Mr. Boynedo announced that the 2024-2025 crop season will start from 1st September this year.
Now, the Atuabo gas processing plant in the western region could be under threat and risks a shutdown. That's if the LPG marketers continue with boycott of two distributors, Blue Ocean and Sage Petroleum. That's one from the NPA. The LPG marketers get their supplies through bulk distributors who draw from the plant. Not turning to them for supplies in the coming weeks will affect the operations of Atuabo, it says. Obed Boache is head of gas regulation at the National Petroleum Authority.
Of course, you cannot go and block a service provider's infrastructure, not to permit other people to go there and then gain products. You cannot do that. With regards to the facility at Atuabo, for instance, it is a strategic facility that allows us to evacuate LPG so that the gas processing plant can be run. Once you stop evacuation of LPG over there, you create a national security issue. And so that will have to be looked at also. And so these are actions that we will look at holistically, and we will issue statements and then we'll take necessary actions where we need to.
All right, joining us on Zoom is Gabriel Kumi, who is Vice Chairman of the LPG Marketers Association. Good afternoon to you. What's your reaction to the concern raised by the NPA that the boycott of Sage Petroleum and Blue Ocean puts Atuabo gas processing plant at risk?
Tell my brother Obed to calm down. His ranting is so unnecessary and uncalled for. We specifically, if you look at the letter we wrote, we specifically stated that we are not lifting from these two companies in their Tema depots. Nowhere in our letter did we mention Atuabo. So we are surprised that he's trying to press the panic button by suggesting that we have decided not to go to Atuabo. In any case, you NPA wrote to us that Atuabo is undergoing some maintenance and that we should revert back to Atuabo, and that currently we are loading from Tema. We should go back to Atuabo on the 26th of this month. Today is 21st, I think. You have not written back to us to tell us that Atuabo is ready, so we should move there. So we are sticking to the 26th of this month's deadline to return to Atuabo. So what is this ranting for? Well, we haven't said anywhere that we are very much aware of the national security implication of not lifting the LPG from Atuabo. And we are very, very, very responsible association. And we don't want to put this nation under any national security threat. So you should stop this propaganda and concentrate on doing proper regulatory works.
Well, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The indication is that these two companies that you've boycotted draw their supplies from the Atuabo gas processing plants, and then you guys get to load from them. Is that correct? You can correct me if I'm wrong.
It's only Sage Petroleum that draws from Atuabo. Sage is a monopoly in Atuabo. I think it's about time we even look at the monopoly being enjoyed by Sage Petroleum at Atuabo. Ghana Gas has built their own loading gantry, but Sage Petroleum has monopolized Atuabo gas LPG for the past 10 years. And there's the time as a nation we take a second look at it. Blue Ocean have no facility at Atuabo. We don't load from Blue Ocean at Atuabo. We load from only Sage Petroleum. And these two companies have depots at Tema. And these are the depots that we have decided that their activities are inimical to our survival, and that we are not going to do business with these two depots at Tema. There's nowhere we have mentioned Atuabo. So we are surprised, we were shocked when he kept on ranting and trying to press the panic button, trying to call on national security. National security is a very noble institution. They call us all the time, we explain our issues to them, and they understand.
But don't they have concerns? Don't they have genuine concerns about what becomes of Atuabo gas processing plant if, again, Sage Petroleum is not able to supply through LPG marketers?
Again, we have never said anywhere that we are not lifting gas from Sage Petroleum at Atuabo. Our letter was specific to Tema depots. We didn't mention Atuabo. And the time for us to even go back to Atuabo is 26, which is not right yet. So why is he jumping the gun? This propaganda of a regulator must stop. I mean, you should be more serious than this. We haven't mentioned Atuabo, and we are, like I said, we are very much aware of the implications of not lifting gas from Atuabo. We don't want to go through any doomsday. I'm sure when there is doomsday, the effect on us as players of the industry is even more than the effect on my brother Obed. So you should relax. You should relax. You should calm down. We know what we are doing, and we are not ready to throw this country into any darkness.
Right.
So you should just.
And like
and
you
I
point,
want nation that we are not going to do anything. This is the regulators' attempt to pitch us against the nation, and that which is not jibing, which is not washing. We are not going to do anything to jeopardize the security of our nation.
yeah,
Everybody must be.
you pointed out, I mean, Atuabo has not been operating for a couple of weeks because of the maintenance works, and so you're supposed to return to them on the 26th of August. Could this be a sort of pressure to get you to rescind your decision to not load from these two firms that you've boycotted?
Yeah, that will not work. That will not work. For Atuabo, like I said, we haven't even mentioned Atuabo. What that simply means is that we don't have anything against we lifting LPG from Atuabo. But those ones at Tema that we specify, we are not going to do business with them. And nothing will change that standard always. There are a lot of about 6 or 7 BDCs that are selling LPG. And since we boycotted them on the 12th, there's still a lot of LPG in the system for all of us to load. There is no shortage of LPG in town. So those two companies, nobody should deceive you that boycotting those 2 depots at Tema will create any shortage in the nation. No, that will never happen. Fortunately, Central Refinery has just started producing, and they are also going to churn out a lot of LPG. So Ghanaians should be rest assured. We have invested hugely in this industry, and we are not going to do anything to jeopardize our
yeah, because I was going to ask you how effective the action of boycotting these 2 firms have been the last couple of weeks, if it's been effective in addressing your concerns.
To us, it's been extremely effective. It's extremely effective. I'm sure if you go to them, they will let you know how this decision of iOS is really biting them. And we are doing this to protect the indigenous Ghanaian businesses, to protect about almost 500 million investment that indigenous of Ghana has invested in the LPG downstream.
For the benefit of our audience who don't understand what is going on, why are you boycotting the operations of Blue Ocean and Sage Petroleum? What's at stake?
Let me summarize this. Sage Petroleum and Blue Ocean has opposed we, the LPG marketing companies, attempt to be part of cylinder recirculation. They have opposed we using our existing infrastructure to distribute CRM cylinders. They did that. We had a meeting at NPA last 2 years, and we surrendered our 800 LPG outlets to government that, look, let's use this to implement cylinder recirculation. Sage Petroleum and Blue Ocean came out very, very, very strongly to oppose that. Subsequently, what we saw was that they have gone for LPG distribution license, and they are now competing with us at the retail end. They are setting up cages and containers in front of and beside LPG stations. So we just said that, look, you can't use your one hand to do business with us and then use the other hand to take that same business with us, from us. So we have said that, look, let's allow them to put all their LPG into bottles and then come and compete with us. We are ready for that kind of competition. But we are not going to support their business in Tema to end up using whatever proceeds they get out of this business to come and take the distribution and retail sector as well. So they want to monopolize. Sage Petroleum have half of Ghana. It supplies to half of Ghana. He has moved to Tema to put up a depot and is competing with 7 or 8 others in Tema Enclave. And now he has turned his guns at the hands that fed it. He has turned his guns at the retail end and want to also take that market. And it's very, very, very dangerous to allow one company to monopolize the whole LPG industry in Ghana. And that is what we are fighting against.
What's the way around this standoff between you and the NPA, if you want to describe it as such? I mean, it's been 2 to 3 weeks, right, since the boycott. Are you engaging? What's the way forward? For how long is this going to continue?
Well, for some time now, NPA has stopped engaging us. They have said that they are going to do what they are doing, whether we like it or not. So we are also doing the little we can to also protect the investment of indigenous Ghanaians, over almost $500 million investment that indigenes have done over the past 25 to 30 years. We think that needs some protection. We offer employment to over 10,000 Ghanaians, and I think this employment also needs to be protected. Indigenous Ghanaian businesses must be protected at this stage.
No room for talks, no room for engagements?
We are open to talk anytime, any day. Anytime, if NPA calls us now that we should come and sit down and talk, we will run to them. They know we have never refused talking to them. We are always open. They call us, and even otherwise, we rush to them to sit down with them and talk. So we haven't closed any door. They have decided to ignore us and go ahead and implement the policy the way they are doing it. And we believe the way they are going about it is wrong. We have no opposition to government policy, but if the thing is being done in a way that is going to throw over $400 million investment out, then we have every right as Ghanaians, as indigenous Ghanaians, to stand up. And that is exactly what we are doing. So this is no opposition to government policy. We have never put any impediment in the way of NPA in their attempt. In fact, we have cooperated with them. We surrendered our stations to NPA to do a pilot. They did a pilot and we cooperated with them fully. Now, when we have supported you to prepare the food, now they said they are giving it to some people to do a parallel distribution network. But we said that is fine. So long as they are not closing us down and they are establishing a parallel distribution network for all of us to compete in the market, we are good with that. But we call on NPA to be fair. We call for fair regulation.
Okay.
That is all that we call for. And then they can go ahead and license as many people as they want to also come into the space.
We'll keep following this, see how it unfolds. Thank you so much, Gabriel Kumi, Vice Chairman, LPG Marketers Association. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you so much. So he obviously downplaying the impact of the boycott of Blue Ocean and Sage Petroleum on the operations of the Atuabo gas processing plant. Let's turn to other stories for you. Ghana's youth population is expected to hit 15.8 million by 2030. This represents an increase of over 1.7 million of the population recorded in 2021. A report also shows that the Greater Accra region is expected to record the highest youth population size by 2030, with over 2.9 million persons between the ages of 15 and 35. Speaking to Joy Business, Deputy Government Statistician Dr. Faustina Frimpong Ingwa urged policymakers to develop the skills of the youth to reduce the rate of dependency. She spoke at the launch of the Maiden District Rankings Report and Ghana Stats mobile app by the Ghana Statistical Service.
Among the key findings, school-going and working-age populations will continue to increase, with Konkata-Manso district expected to record the highest population growth rate by 2030. This is keenly followed by the Kumasi and Tamale Metropolitan Assemblies. Overall, 23 out of 261 districts are projected to record over a 50% increase in the population of persons between 15 and 59 years. The report also revealed that the population of persons between 15 and 35 years is expected to reach 15.8 million by 2030. Deputy Government Statistician Dr. Faustina Frimpong Ingwa shared more details on the report. She spoke at the district-level population projections and launch of the Maiden District Rankings, as well as Ghana Stats mobile app.
The age from 15 to 59 years within the country is going to increase. At 2021, we saw that Ashanti region was leading, or KMA number was leading, but from 2024, moving 2027 to 2030, Konkata-Manso is going to lead in that number. Somebody may ask, one of the things on the high side I'm talking about is that some parts of Greater Accra is like land is finished. They'll tell you that the land is completed. But these that are at the fringes of these capital towns, that's where people move in to settle because they can't space and other things. So now we've seen that the numbers there, both the school going age, the working age group is increasing in these areas that we are talking about.
Currently, Ghana's population is made up of 1/3 of persons between the ages of 15 and 35 years. Here's Deputy Government Statistician on what should be done to ensure an economically active youth.
When you have a lot of people in this age group, there's something we call the demographic dividend. The demographic dividend is that when people get to the age in which they are going to get jobs or working status, they require education, they require skills, and they require employment. And so if a third of your population now is within this group, do they have their skills? Do they have their training? Do they have their education? So if we've given you that you don't have money, but I've told you that 1/3 of your people are in this group, where will you invest your money?
Professor Nicholas Awoche, director at the Institute of Local Government Studies, noted that the report will support proper decision-making in the local government sector.
Today, dissemination of Ghana's population prospects, district population projections, and the platform mobile app is timely. It will help us make meaningful analysis on our decentralization and local governance systems.
The ceremony also witnessed the launch of the Ghana Stats mobile app and the Maiden District Ranking Report.
You're watching The Marketplace. Up next, let's talk tech. It's your weekly look at what's trending in the tech space. A lead for Eyes of Africa, Henry Kobler, joins me on Zoom to discuss the latest headlines. Henry, good afternoon to you. I want to begin with the Bank of Ghana finally set to regulate cryptocurrency and other digital assets. What are we learning?
So this has been one of the campaigns we've used this platform to push, and ultimately I think that we're getting some level of results again from the regulators. I'm exactly happy about this, and generally it's always been one of the pointers I always make sure I always say the Bank of Ghana really is putting in a lot of efforts in the innovation of the fintech industry headed by Kwame Apon and the team, and generally they're doing a very good work when it comes down to that. Now, generally when it comes down to cryptocurrency, it's been a talk where we've seen Bank of Ghana throwing a lot of press releases into the public domain. I mean, cautioning investors on how to go about this. Generally now they're coming in to look at the regulation of these assets, and they've pushed out a framework for the very first point to address some of these issues. I mean, generally, they are looking at the terms of references to some of these cryptocurrency assets, the assets landscape that is all there, and then the policy thinking. I mean, when it comes down to the policy thinking, you're looking at how these digital assets are going to cut across payment systems, banking systems, and cross transactions between the cryptocurrency itself and then the fiat currency. And so generally the policy is thinking not just regulating the cryptocurrency, but also looking at how it affects banking and payment systems here in Ghana as well. And then you'd also look at the regulative objectives, which is also coming in with some level of proposed guidelines where, I mean, the framework that you're putting out would relatively target exchanges and other platforms that will be offering to be buying or selling these cryptocurrencies, or again, trying to trade these assets or pushing these assets into custody services or developing virtual assets and throwing them out there. And so the regulatory objective relatively is going to cover up for most of these platforms that will definitely be looking at either buying or selling any cryptocurrency as well. And again, it's also going to cover up to regulate institutions that are going to come in and interact with these platforms as well. And again, we're also going to see some level of proposed regulatory approach and how they're going to carry out these regulatory reforms as well. And then some level of cumulative processes are going to come in. Now, what I can say is I'm looking at the objectives of what they've put out there, and relatively the very first point is that they're looking at some level of integrity and stability within the finance sector. Generally, you're still having people, and I can tell you for a fact that if you go to the bank and you want to buy a USD today, you might not necessarily be able to buy, but people are buying a lot of stable coins in terms of USD, and so people are still now transacting and moving your fiat currencies into cryptocurrencies. And so generally it's still going to affect us, and we're looking at how these objectives in terms of being able to ensure integrity and stability within the financial industry, also be able to protect consumers and then investors as well, because there are quite a number of platforms that are out there. If they basically go down with your assets. And so how is Ghana going to ensure that its customers or its citizens are sort of protected on some of these platforms? Again, we're also looking at financial crimes and how to guard against these financial crimes, because again, cryptocurrency has been an asset point where people have been using it in the negative way. So how do we put in place the pointers to make sure that we can curb financial crime? And again, also to look at how innovations can come into place and have some level of market integrity. Because again, if you're having PayPal, which is a very big company, starting to implement cryptocurrencies, and allowing innovations, right, I think that we're also rightly positioned to be able to get and allow most of these tech industry in the tech ecosystem to be able to push in innovation.
I mean, wasn't the reason why the Bank of Ghana was hesitant in the first place to sort of adopt these cryptocurrencies because of the risks involved? I wanted to talk about Nigeria briefly, 30 seconds, because it's gone ahead of us. Nigeria's SEC has rolled out plans to license virtual assets, including cryptocurrencies. 30 seconds, Henry.
In Nigeria, we've seen how cryptocurrency had affected even demonstrations. And so generally for SEC to come in, they had already banned these cryptocurrencies, but it's still ongoing. I feel that is the same point with Ghana. I mean, they're all starting to realize that it's very important to push in proper regulation and then to regulate these assets and then get to protect the people that are going to be on there.
All right.
So it's a good
Thank you so much. Do you love snail farming? Do you love snails? Anything snail farming?
Much.
Oh, you do? All right. All right. There'll be a discussion this afternoon on the master class that's on Joy 99.7 FM on snail farming. In fact, I'm headed to the studio right now. Join us if you can. Meantime, catch up on all the stuff. There you go. The handsome guy over there, he's hosting the program with Felix Nyakwa-Apia, who is CEO of Trisolis Farms. The master class at 1:30, just about a minute. myjoyonline.com/business. The day's latest stories from over there. Thanks for watching.